It's time for All Hands on Tech.
Climb on board as we explore all the amazing things happening in Nova Scotia's tech sector. Each episode, we'll chat with local experts to uncover the secrets of what makes Nova Scotia the best place for collaboration, innovation, and creativity.
All Hands on Tech is proudly produced by Digital Nova Scotia, the industry association for Nova Scotia's growing tech sector. Digital Nova Scotia's Skills for Hire Atlantic is an upskilling and reskilling program offered over 20 weeks and free of cost to residents of Atlantic Canada. This popular program is opening applications for the next cohort on May 15th. Are you looking to get your start in the world of data analytics or cybersecurity? Check out skillsforhire.ca to see if the program is right for you.
Welcome back to All Hands on Tech. So, you've got a great idea that will disrupt the tech industry, but you don't necessarily have the know-how to bring that idea to market. What do? Well, that's where Softverse Technology comes in.
Softverse is actually one of our newest members here at Digital Nova Scotia, and they offer custom software development services for startups, entrepreneurs, and small to medium-sized businesses. They consider themselves your internal tech team. So to learn more about how that works and what they're doing for their clients, we're so excited to have the company's co-founder, Anil Pradhan, on the podcast. Welcome to All Hands on Tech.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure.
We're so happy that you're here and that you're a member with us here at Digital Nova Scotia. We did obviously give a little overview off the top, but for folks who've never heard of Softverse Technology, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about kind of what you do for your clients?
Okay, thank you very much. Obviously, once again, Softverse Technology is basically, it's a software developing company. We develop from very small softwares, let's say, teeny mini bit of any websites, all the way to a very, very complex softwares. So basically, that's like broad. But if we were to be very precise, then we have positioned ourselves as a software company for non-tech founders. Those who have a brilliant idea, a disruptive idea, but then unfortunately they don't have the technical skills or the resources, and they need to convert their idea into something tangible, software. That's where we come in, and we help founders, non-tech founders, entrepreneurs to realize their idea and then help them grow bigger.
Okay, and I'm just curious, why did you decide to kind of hone in on the non-tech founders?
Right. I have had my own, fair share of struggle as an entrepreneur. This would probably be my, fourth, startup. I've had an opportunity to, had a great exit before also. So I've, as an entrepreneur, I've been through the stages where, like, especially non-tech founders go, all those troubles. You have you as a founder, you have such a vivid idea about what do you want. But then when it comes to like having it in a software, it's practically, it gets impossible, because your hands are tied. You don't have much resources and you burn out. And that's what our research shows. Like, more than 90% of the founders who are trying to, have their own startup, at least in the software side, they get frustrated after some time because all they have is a beautiful idea in their brain and a beautiful PowerPoint presentation with them, which they showcase around, probably compete in a various pitch competition and win as well. But after some time, they fall into the world of despair. They're frustrated. That's what we have figured out. That's what our customer discovery tells us. I mean, and there's a large number, so we want to help.
Okay. Well, we're excited to learn more about kind of what you do at Softverse Technology. But first of all, we want to get to know you just a little bit better. So we have some rapid fire questions for you.
Sure.
Virtual calendar or physical planner?
Pen and the paper.
Okay.
Nothing beats that.
Nothing beats that. Yeah. I'm a mix of the two, I think. I like to have a physical planner, but with the work we do, meetings and all that, you kind of need to have it.
But you have so many choices of virtual calendar. I mean, if I just look into my own, mobile phone, I see like 3 or 4. I'm like using all of them. But then when it comes to like, really planning something,
right.
Pen and the paper.
Okay. I love that. Wire charging or a wireless charger?
Wireless. I've started liking wireless charging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very handy.
Yeah.
Meet in person or over Zoom?
Definitely in person. Oh my God. Oh my God. Definitely 100 times more.
Okay, that was an easy one for you. This one might be a little tough, but do you have a favorite app?
I have so many. So many.
What do
Favorite?
you use? What can't you get through the week without using?
I think email.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the bread and butter for.
Do you have like a Outlook app or a Gmail app, or is like an organizing email app? Because they're like third-party email apps too.
I do Gmail. Gmail as well as Outlook.
Okay, beyond that, because that's one that you kind of have to use. But what about like a fun one? Is there a fun one? I guess apps, depends. What's fun?
Or is it strictly business? I have fun apps on my phone. I have one I play chess on. I have one I do Duolingo. I have one I play this
that's
game
fun,
on.
yeah.
Like, there's fun ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling really.
That's fair. I told you it was a tough
struggling.
question.
I'm
If someone
struggling.
asked me that, I don't know what I would say. So.
No, I don't have any gaming apps, unfortunately.
They're dangerous. I had one that was Spider Solitaire. I know this is so silly, but I had Spider Solitaire and I would not stop playing it. I had to take it off my phone because it was too addictive. But anyways,
Even shopping apps? No, not even shopping.
No, shopping apps are like, it's just,
you're like, give us something.
yeah, a shopping app is like, Amazon, pretty much all the shopping apps are there,
Yeah.
because they're so convenient. You just use it and within a minute you just buy whatever you want to buy. Finish and throw it. Hang on a second. Can I look at my
Of
Absolutely.
course.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, so to answer that, WhatsApp.
Okay, see? There we go. That's a fun one.
Interesting.
WhatsApp is like something, not just business, but
Yeah.
even to connect with family, friends, and everyone.
For
It's just
sure.
like it's must.
Okay, well, let's dive into some of these questions that we got for you. So you
Sure.
say that you help non-tech founders turn their visions into realities, and that's by being their internal tech team. So why don't you just kind of walk us through what that means and what an internal tech team looks like?
Okay, this is really interesting. I'm glad you asked me this question because I'll give you an analogy. As a founder, when they have their idea, they would see their business idea as like 100-story building, okay? Now, as a software company or a technical people, they need to understand what sort of foundation you need to build for that 100-story building. And that starts from day one, okay? And even as a small prototype, it may just be a 1-story or 2-story building, but then when you build that, you need to have the foundation already put in place for 100 stories, so that later on, you keep on growing, you keep on building higher and higher. That's where we come in. And the reason why we say we are an extended internal tech team is because if you have an internal team, you could like literally be there, back and forth with your idea and then development. Obviously, in order to have that, you need to have a lot of money to have your own internal team, which is not possible. But with 1/10 of that, of that cost, you could have someone like us, Softverse Technology, who would literally work with you day in and day out as your own internal tech team. The only difference is we are just an extended
Okay.
internal tech team. So that's the whole logic behind it. So we are just there, bang on, we don't wait for 3 days to reply to your email request because startup needs speed.
Right.
That's the most important part. Yeah.
And that's kind of part of your service guarantee.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is key.
Nice. So how many great ideas never make it to the market because businesses don't have the proper tech background?
Here in Halifax, according to my, our customer discovery interviews, we've learned that more than 75% are non-tech. And out of those 75%, 90% just, unfortunately.
I don't expect you to have the answer, but do you think that's because people kind of want to get into the space or they have a good idea for something that might be great for them, but they obviously don't have the background to make it happen? So then they're trying, I guess that's what it must be, but people are just kind of trying to make solutions and want to enter the tech space.
You could say that. There is a little bit of truth as well. I can't deny that. But,
Yeah.
but those, entrepreneurship is not sexy. Really, it's not.
Has to be said.
You know, it is. It is so hyped. It is so hyped. It looks so beautiful, but you walk in such a lonely path. Many a times, even your closest one won't understand. And those people who have, like left everything around and then jumped into this place, well, either, I mean, if they don't have an idea about it, they will soon realize, and then they will leave. But then those who have been pursuing it for quite some time, I would want to say, they just need more support one way or the other. So yeah, I mean, as you said, some people try to they get lured by this industry, but then most are serious about their vision, serious about their idea, and then they need support. That's where we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I only asked that because how many times have people seen the success of Facebook or something and said, "Oh, I can make the next great big app or something," I think, but it's obviously not that easy. It's just.
And we very much live in an era where people romanticize entrepreneurship so much, without doing the research of what it actually takes to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I mean,
and I think we recently had our fireside chat with Milk Movement that we had recently. He was talking a lot about entrepreneurship and how much work it actually. It's like sleepless nights, it's worrying, it's funding. It's like once you secure the funding, worrying about the next stage of funding because you've already spent that money.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it. So that's interesting to say that.
A lot. And entrepreneurship is not for those who've got a faint heart. So, yeah. It's not for them. But those who are seriously doing it, hey, Softverse is there to help. Okay. I mean, we are heavily focusing on Nova Scotia because Nova Scotia is it's a growing hub, tech hub. Amazing government support is there. Day by day, we're hearing that there's more and more support coming from different walks of life in terms of trainings and ideas, and then there's so much help coming in. So this is the great place, and I'm pretty sure even a non-tech founders who's got a brilliant idea can make it from Halifax.
Well, we think that too. And that is a great segue. We'll jump to that question. I mean, you're headquartered in Montreal, but like you said, you obviously have a footprint here. And I'm just curious why Nova Scotia. You did kind of allude to it a little bit, but how has it been operating a business here in the tech space, and what do you love about Nova Scotia?
Okay, Nova Scotia is, I would say, I'll try to do justice to Nova Scotia and Halifax. I find Halifax very scenic, simple, and beautiful. Okay, I've been to other cities in Canada, and then I still, when we recently, my wife and I, we traveled to Ottawa. And then while coming back, after landing in the airport, we said hey, Halifax is much more prettier, isn't it? So that's in terms of the lifestyle. But then in terms of business, I came here in Nova Scotia to do my master's in technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation from St. Mary's University, and obviously that sort of helped me understand how fast Halifax is growing, and how it is I would rather say hats off to the government initiatives to support the entrepreneurs. So that's sort of putting all of them together. They kind of sort of check all the boxes to be here, and to have the headquarters in Montreal was just a strategic decision. But then very soon we're opening up office here in Halifax as well.
Where the grass is greener.
Yeah, we're so glad you're here.
Just curious, Softverse, Technology offers a special package for female entrepreneurs. Tell me a little bit more about that and why. Why do you offer it?
Sure. First of all, it's a soft of software and universe of just the verse. So we've just put together
I like that.
Hopefully, software. We could help pretty much the universe of entrepreneurs with our software service. So that was the whole idea. So that is it. Especially why women, according to the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor report, women entrepreneurs are just 10%.
Wow.
You know, ratio. In Canada, it's great. Like almost about 2020 report shows around like 30% ish. But then even though the ratio is smaller, women are much more confident. That's what the research shows. Report shows they are much more confident when it comes to like becoming an entrepreneur. So having said that, on one side, women are like growing and they must grow. But on the other hand, in a space where even males are like struggling, and let's not say males, like 90% are struggling. I can only imagine like how much a female or a woman would struggle when it comes to like having that. And according to the report, women struggle in terms of fundings, in terms of networking, in terms of pretty much everything. So we are just saying, hey, you've got an idea, give us a shout. Let's sit together. We will listen to your idea. We will, try to understand what you're trying to achieve, what's your 10 years goal, but at the same time, what's your goal now? What's your objective now? And we will come up with something to help you make your idea tangible.
That's extremely progressive to give them a head start in a space where they typically wouldn't have a head start, I must say. Hats off to you for doing that.
Thank you.
And I'm curious why that is important to you at Softverse Technology to, diversify tech entrepreneurship.
Of course, yes. I mean, ideas could come from anywhere. And I am a big fan of Canva, by the way.
Me too.
Okay? It has democratized the power of graphic designing to anybody.
Yeah.
Literally. It's $1 billion company and it was started by a women founder.
I didn't know that. But that
Melanie.
makes sense.
Melanie, it's the last name is anyways Melanie. Okay, her name is Melanie. She's the CEO. So she didn't have the technical skills, but she had an idea and she had a solid convincing power to build her co-founders. And look at it now. Every common man is a graphic designer.
Yep.
It's brilliant. She's a woman founder. So that is in the tech space, and there are so many examples on the non-tech space as well. But hey, idea comes from everyone. And why leave that?
So you work with a lot of entrepreneurs and startups. So I'm just curious, what is your best or maybe most memorable entrepreneur come up story, or do you have any shout outs that you want to give about some companies that you've worked with? That's a tough one.
No, it's I'm just trying to figure out like two different extreme examples.
Sure, let's go.
One is one of our client, a major client, was having a very hard time to build their software here in Nova Scotia, Halifax, Nova Scotia. When we came into the picture, I could see their frustration. I understood. I simply understood. I said, hey, give us a chance. It'll be a badge of honor for us to serve you, to, give you the service. And we will deliver whatever you're asking for in just 4 months' time. So when we looked at the code, the first line of code was written 3 years ago. So you can imagine this client has been suffering for 3 years trying to have his idea, visualized in a real form. I was like heartbroken. I could so well, feel that pain, which I had felt long time ago when I had burned so much money.
Right.
And it was the same case with this client. And I said, like, don't worry about the fund because, I know there's lots being burnt. Let us just develop you whatever you're asking for, 4 months. Then, the rest will be history. So we, after about a month time, after doing all sort of presentations and everything, we were very lucky we got the contract. And it didn't even take 4 months. It took us 3 months to complete the whole development phase.
Wow.
And that sort of gives our clients a confidence, to come with us and build more, because what they had asked for was just a small piece. But then again, that small piece in this market, at least in the developing country, would cost you 40, 50 grand and even more. Okay, so it's somewhat like us, the underdogs. We have that agility, that genuine feeling. We understand what it needs, So it was very easy for us to understand the pain, number one, of our client. I know there are so many companies here, institutions here who are trying to build their softwares, and I can pretty much resonate. Many of them are going through a similar situation. I want to tell them from this forum, just give us this out.
Yeah.
Let's sit, let's talk, and then we will see how we can go forward. Yes, fund is there, but fund comes secondary. Primary is what's your idea and what you want to achieve. So that was like one good example, and that client has been speaking about us so good in the market, and we are receiving more and more business inquiries.
That's awesome.
Okay? That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
So that was the one. The other one was there was a female entrepreneur who already had few customers, and she was on a stage where she needed fundings, okay, to realize her entrepreneurship journey in a more proper way. So she obviously as a non-tech entrepreneur, she would not know what she requires in terms of software. Okay, all she could do was try to explain in her best ability what she needed. So she went around, asked for quotations, and she was getting quotations of 50, 60 grand, 70 grand. The one which we received as a reference was 50 grand quotation. The first and the foremost thing we as a software company must do is we need to understand what's their requirement to the depth. And not just the requirement, but their objective for now and objective for 10 years down the road. Because, earlier on I gave you the analogy of building a 100-story skyscraper.
Yeah.
But the foundation needs to be done now. So we sat down with her multiple times. It was a free session. We sat down, and then her 50 grand was probably, it just probably came down to 1/10 of it for what she needed.
And you probably just cut all the fluff out of, hey, you don't need this. You probably only need these couple things.
Exactly.
And when you're later in your development stage, then you can worry about these things. Yeah. So that's very nice to have that kind of need.
Because just to echo on that, because startups is you it's not you have this size and this is it. It's not like that. It starts with a small thing, and then you constantly iterate and reiterate. Many of the things which you think you need now, you may not need them for another 2-3 years as well. It's just a waste of resources for now. So what you really need, so we try to sit down and we figure out what do you need now? What's your objective? So for this lady, her objective was to have some fundings. So for fundings, she needs a working prototype with some dashboards where she can have some matrix users, this and that, interactions and everything. So she could demonstrate that real product to the VCs or to the accelerators. And then accelerators, when they see such product, a working product with the real-time users and real revenue and everything, they believe in the product.
Right.
Whereas, you have a beautiful PowerPoint presentation, you show it, well,
So have you ever seen a case where venture capitalists or accelerators will fund something where there isn't a working prototype, where it's just conceptual?
It depends. Various, again, venture capital have also positioned themselves in different stages of the startup.
Okay.
Some, those who have positioned themselves for a pre-seed or just an idea stage, they will only look at the idea. Okay, but that's the high risk, high return area where very few would be there. But then the next stage would be seed stage, where you need to have a working prototype, you need to have some people, you need to have some tractions, you need to have something happening there, and then more VCs and fund or angels would be more interested to those, and then there's round 1, round 2, round 3.
Right.
Then the major player comes in. They want to have a piece of you and piece of your idea, and then have the benefit out of it.
I feel like oh no, sorry, I was just gonna say a joke, but you go ahead.
No, tell the joke.
Please.
Oh, I was just gonna say I
joke.
feel like people with money have learned their lesson after Theranos and the whole Elizabeth Holmes situation. Really, she had no working prototype though.
No, so did there's a
She
few...
just had the idea and said, okay, we'll make it happen once you give us money. But like you said, obviously there's maybe an expectation that you have something.
And I almost feel like there's been successes with that, but she obviously wasn't successful.
Right.
Yeah. I was wondering, are you positioned right now in a place where you're kind of familiar with certain VCs or certain people in this community where you know exactly what they want and you kind of just share that with your clients and like get them to that point?
Yes, I have participated in a number of accelerator programs, and spoke with various VCs as well, VCs or those people who are running accelerator programs and those who are helping entrepreneurs. So what they are doing is they're giving mentorship. They are bringing a lot of resources and helping them learn entrepreneurship. So many things. So their service is different, but then once they have done their part and the entrepreneurs have sort of done the customer discovery, they've become more confident with their idea, and that's where we want to come in. That's where they come to us, or we come across, and then we will help them build their idea, just have that transition, and then make them ready to sort of to try out their features and stuff more, and then also get them have all those metrics and datas to showcase the people who've got money, so that they get proper funds.
Well, I got to say, I love that you've kind of come full circle, and the whole story behind Softverse is kind of like you're helping these companies because you've been in their shoes and, you want to be there to support them. So I love that. And I guess just a personal question, how does it feel to be able to help these companies and kind of turn their visions into a reality?
It is beautiful when you hear your team, we call team, but they are like client. They client are phenomenally happy about your service, and you just keep on. You can't stop yourself from raising your own bar,
Yeah.
and it becomes a challenge. But hey, that's what startup is about. So you keep on pushing yourself, you keep on helping, and you keep on getting good words. And again, it fuels you to raise your bar high. So it's like a vicious, not a positively vicious circle.
Positively vicious circle. I love that.
But it's great. It is great. It's lovely. I mean, we're very touch wood. God's been kind. We're very thankful to our clients and those who are speaking good about us. But we really want to help, more and more startup founders. So, obviously, you're going to talk about. We have our detail in your platform as well, with Softverse Technology Inc. Softverse.com. So we're there. All you have to do is, we've got our numbers, we've got our form there, emails and everything. All you have to do is just give us a shout. That's it.
Perfect.
Love it. We always kind of end the podcast leaving the floor open. So is there anything kind of exciting coming up with Softverse Technology that you want to highlight, or anything kind of just coming down the pipe that you're excited for this year?
There are some. We are having a lot of strategic moves, which I'm really excited about. I was just smiling when you just announced. But I'm quite not I'm not going to reveal them now.
That's fair. That's fair.
Something has to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, overall, we're really, really excited that the existing clients are really happy. But new clients who are coming in are expecting something really great. So that trust is something which is extremely important for us. And for the clients as well, and there are so many events happening out there for entrepreneurs, competitions happening for entrepreneurs. We are trying to be out there for them, but we're trying to focus our energy into things that we do best, and leave the rest to the experts. So we are trying to shake hand with experts in terms of some sort of promotions and stuff, which we will be doing later on. But then now it's just having our client base extremely happy, and from that growing our clients. So it is a big challenge, but we're extremely happy, and we're very, very thankful and grateful to everyone. And especially we see a lot of opportunity here in the future, tying up with the government agencies as well, who are trying to help entrepreneurs. So that's an area which we will be exploring. Also excited about it.
Well, we're super excited to see you continue to grow here in Nova Scotia and thrive as a business. And got to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It was a great discussion.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Really enjoyed. Thank you so much. Rapid fire round was great. And all the questions were great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in to All Hands on Tech. Interested in learning more? Visit us on our website at www.digitalnovascotia.com. We'll see you next time.
This
has been
a Podstarter
production.